Good morning and welcome to another episode of the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast. Today we're talking about captivating audiences with compelling stories. Sounds very fancy.
It would be lovely to be seen as captivating, I suppose.
Well, we're captivating audiences. We're not being captivating. Is that right?
That didn't sound right.
No.
Okay.
But our storytelling is very important. We're not talking about once upon a time in a land far, far away. We're past that, right?
Well, I should hope so.
But when you tell a story, you have to put a bit of you into it. So you have to give it your spin.
No. I do think there's a personal element, but it doesn't have to be you.
Explain.
Well, how many times have we watched TikToks or reels of a crime being explained, and you're not putting your spin on it at all? You're spinning their story.
Okay, but how does that help me sell more websites?
Well, for you, I would say, here's a case study. This is what worked for them. Still not talking about you, though.
But it is, because we helped them with it.
But it was their outcome that makes people buy. Yeah, see? You're nodding.
Unless they're watching, then I'm not nodding. But you have to give some details. You can't just go, oh, look how great this website was that we built. You know, you have to give some specifics.
But you're still not giving you're saying they were captivated by the stylish design. They were.
Yeah, but it's our design. We made the design.
Well, actually, it was a bunch of code made by somebody who actually built the website in the first place, and you're just the engineers of it. So, but, that's where it comes from. Let's be serious. You're not going to win this one, Darth.
No, but an artist can only use the colors that already exist. So you're talking about the same idea.
There you go. Still not yours.
Okay, but storytelling, it's very important. Instead of just giving the cold, hard facts, take them on a journey.
Again, there's actually a place for the cold, hard facts. There's comedians who use the cold, hard facts in a certain tone of voice, in a certain way, and, flicking through screens. What's that shouty British man who constantly berates politicians? He speaks all politely and newspapery man on screen, and then the camera apparently stops running. Oh, yeah. But Jonathan it keeps on going.
I think it is.
That's the one. Yeah. He is hilarious.
He's brilliant. Yeah. Because he says the truth.
He says the truth, but he says it in his way. But it's still not his story. He's just out his bullet points, basically. And then he's just adding his spin. So you don't actually have to be personable. It's great that you are. And I would actively encourage people to, but I think what puts a lot of people off when it comes to storytelling is they think they've got to put all of themselves into the storytelling. They have to mention their family, where they live, what pets they have, their passwords, goodness knows what else.
No, never.
And you don't. You can just spin what's already out there. People get paid to do it.
True. But okay, so that brings me to something that's come up recently. Can you use anything and everything to make a story?
Yeah, we see this all the time when you see the 5 things you shouldn't do with your website, the 5 ways you're doing it wrong, and there's a negative spin that you can create. It's not really done anymore, not to any real extent.
Well, there's the infamous one of things I learnt about sales when proposing to my girlfriend.
Huh?
Oh, yeah. LinkedIn posts, they're full of, here's a banal item, and this is what it means in marketing.
Okay. If you can't see me, I'm scratching my head.
She's really confused looking. She's got this weird look on her face going, really, people do that? But yeah, the longer I spend on LinkedIn, the more of them I see, and it's weird. It's like a cup of tea can no longer be just a cup of tea. It has to have some sort of marketing reference behind it, apparently. For me, it's just a cup of tea.
Yeah, well, again, that's somebody's interpretation, it's their spin. I mean, I've seen those images of multiple teas, of different colours, put up in a grid, and people have to select which one is their type of tea.
Yeah.
And I suppose in some way that's some consumer research. But, you can spin anything. You can spin going to the shops. You can spin getting a cat. You can spin all sorts of things. But as long as you're paying more attention to what is going to create conversation, that's going to encourage shares, and that's going to promote engagement, it doesn't have to be your life story.
No, I agree. There are many, many things that you can keep personal, especially your passwords, without having to share it to the world. I mean, I know people who, I've known them online for years and years and years, and only when I met them in person did I then find out that they were married and had children, and, because they don't share that side. Other people openly share that side of motherhood, parenthood, spousalhood. Is that a word? Because that's what's more, they feel that that's what makes them more relatable. But tell your story the way you want to tell your story. Don't let anybody else tell your story.
See, there's a place for people to tell your story as well, because then it's user-generated content. See?
Got me nodding again. She's got me on this one. I mean...
And user-generated content is actually more valuable than your own content. In many ways, actually.
User-generated content for people with products is far easier, let's face it, than people with services. So, how do Stomp and IPA Group get their user-generated content?
By doing a good job, normally, because we're both services. Or if we do a bad job, we also get feedback.
Yeah, well, that's when we mostly get feedback, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Because, well, in our case, we forget to ask for reviews. Bad,
so
Esther.
This is where Esther has to listen to the podcast we recently recorded about sales processes.
Yes.
Or processes.
Processes.
It just depends on where you are in the world, okay?
We're in the same place anyway. Okay. So anybody can tell your story. Your story needs to be told.
May not always be accurate, but yes, they can.
But your story needs to be told. At the end of the day, your story needs to be out there. People need to be able to find you, see you, read all about you, read what other people think about you, read about what you do. Again, you don't have to include what you had for your breakfast unless that is relevant to your business.
Yeah, maybe you're a cafe or restaurant or something.
Or a nutritionist or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the Happy Pear.
Is that not a restaurant? We covered in that one.
It's kind of everything, really.
But the point is, if you don't write about yourself, talk about yourself, talk about what you do, how you help people, whether that be audio format like the podcast, or whether it be written format like a blog, or whether it be social media posts or images or carousels or infographics, or the list of things that you can do is endless. It could be a radio interview. It could be an advert on TV.
It could be a series. It could be a YouTube series. It could be a series of blogs. It doesn't have to be all done in one go.
No, but as long as you are consistent with your storytelling, giving a consistent message of we are here, this is what we do, this is how we help, this is XYZ, then people are going to start to remember you, because it won't just be, oh, I did that one radio interview 3 years ago and, people are still coming to my business because of it. No, I'm sorry. It doesn't work like that.
Wouldn't it be nice though?
It would. It would take a lot of hassle out of it. But even,
it doesn't work that way.
No. And the times are changing so much and so quickly. I mean, I remember showing my age here. Remember when it used to just be, be in the yellow pages, golden pages, whatever you call them, wherever you are. And people would look them up, find you and phone you. Doesn't happen that way either anymore.
I don't think I've ever been in the yellow pages.
No, neither have I. But I mean, when I was growing up, my parents would always look at the yellow pages. And
go, right.
That's the number of the person we need to phone. But the world has changed, times have changed, and we need to move with those changes and adapt and keep growing and keep sending out information into the ether, whether that be the internet, whether it be physical format, whether it be, posters, billboards, side of a bus, whatever way you promote your business, you have to keep doing it.
And there's no harm in updating the old story as well. I mean, myself and Esther, we've both been in business for a number of years now, and you don't just need to say at the very beginning of your business as an awareness tool. It's a great way to keep that relationship going as well. And it doesn't have to be, I've won this award and, new member of staff and all that sort of announcement type of thing. That's not really storytelling. Storytelling is explaining why you got that new member of staff and what project or what campaign got you that award. Going into a bit more detail, seeing, as you've mentioned before, as behind the scenes really helps people understand the beating heart behind the brand. And that's what people buy, is not the brand, but the beating heart behind it.
Yeah. Yeah. And unless you're a big multinational corporation, then, people want to see and hear that beating heart.
We can't afford Ronaldo.
You can't afford what, sir?
Ronaldo.
Coca-Cola doesn't like him either because he tanked their sales. And they can't afford him. But yeah. You need to do what works for you. Take your time. Like I said, consistent messaging, because if you tell one story one day and a different story a different time relating to the same thing, there will be some people who will remember.
But the interesting thing is, those type of POVs are the ones that get most talked about, because you'll get the staff's point of view and then you'll get the boss's point of view, and it'll be exactly the same subject matter.
But I don't mean it like that, because
it's still storytelling though.
It is, but you are the boss and the employee in your company.
Cool.
So if you turn around and give two different stories about the same thing, then that's when people will be like, hang on.
In that instance, yeah. It's just, I'm going to say it. We haven't said it so far. It depends, yeah. I swear we say it depends every single episode.
I think we should start a bingo card.
Product coming soon.
Yeah. Check our website for details. But it does. I always hate saying it, but it does. It depends. You could be having a really bad day. I don't recommend telling a story when you're having a really bad day, because it'll be the negative. It'll be the, oh, woe is me, and everything is just horrible, and people will think that that's what you're like. Just, I don't think it can be sunshine and rainbows every day.
I do think storytelling can include overcoming adversity, though.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So not do storytelling afterwards.
Yes. Not in the middle of the adversity. Because, I mean, everybody has really bad days, but we go on social media to cheer ourselves up. We go on social media to laugh and to, have a giggle. And escape. Yes. So we don't want to, I know it sounds selfish, we don't want to hear about your bad day when we're having a bad day.
Pretty much.
But if there's a way to, like Melanie says, put that positive spin on it and say, look, this was going really, really badly, but, you know, Melanie came along with her company and helped me out, and Esther came along with her company and helped us out, that, you know, the world is a better place because of the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast. Obviously, Amen. You know, obviously that is true story.
Give me a hoorah!
Not doing that.
Fine.
But I think what I'm trying to say is just be yourself. Be true to yourself. But if you're having a bad day, step away from social media.
Yeah. So if you are still a little reticent of doing storytelling, I'm hoping that after listening to today's episode, you can understand you don't have to get too personal. You don't have to include images of you, even particularly these days. It doesn't even need to be the real you. You can have an AI generated version of you.
Yes.
I still would rather it wasn't, but it can be if you really, really don't like it. And don't get any ideas, Esther. We're still doing a video series.
You only think it's me sat here.
Yeah. So I'm hoping this will give you fresh inspiration. I hope that this gives you permission to give it a go, because you are missing out an enormous amount of your audience by not connecting with them on this level.
Yeah.
So give it a try. What can you lose? Nothing personal, that's for sure.
No.
So I think we'll finish off there. I can't think of anything that would be remotely as intelligent or as informative as the last sentence I just made. And we'll leave it there for this week. We'll be back again next week with another podcast. Say bye, Esther.
Bye, Esther. Oh, bye.
I don't know. I think we actually made sense and we had fun this time.
Oh, yeah. We always have fun. Do you not always have fun?
We don't always make sense, though, do we?
Yeah.